students, how are you all? I hope you are happy and healthy and studying also. As we all know, these days we are studying direct and reported indirect speech. And we have discussed a lot of things about that. And we have discussed how to change direct to indirect speech, how to change in tenses to make indirect speech direct to indirect speech, and how to change adverb of time and place for making direct to indirect speech. And we have discussed already that few type of the sentences, just like assertive sentences, imperative sentences, these are the sentences we have to change indirect to indirect speech. So yesterday we have talked about lot of things. Today we are going to discuss how to change interrogative sentences in direct to indirect speech. So how we are going to write, what are the rules to follow these to change or to making indirect speeches in the interrogative forms. So these type of the sentences, as we all know what are the interrogative sentence, we have already discussed, and we all know what are the meaning of interrogative sentences and imperative sentences we have discussed earlier. And today we are going to discuss interrogative sentences and exclamatory sentences also. So how we are going to change these type of the statements in indirect speech. So let's start, children, learning that how to change direct and reported and indirect to indirect speech. So children, be ready and take out your copies and pencils that you should write all the rules properly, and because it will be very helpful for you. So let's start, children. So interrogative sentences, how we are going to change. So here you can see in this picture who, where, what. These are the question words that can make a sentence, a question sentence or interrogative sentences. So in a direct yes or no questions are there. A question is changed into a statement. Reporting verb is changed into ask, inquire, and connective if whether is used. Remaining changes will be like, just we are changing in the statements. So whenever we are changing direct to indirect speech in interrogative sentences, that you just always remember a question is changed into statement. Reporting verb is changed into ask or require, inquire or connective if or whether is used. And remaining changes will be like a statement. So this you always keep in your mind in direct object, indirect speech, yes and no question is if it is there. So for example, I am going to give you that she said to him, "Are you writing a poem?" She asked him if he was writing a poem. Now here, one thing that you just always remember that we have discussed, that if it is written are you, no, are or yes or no. So she said to him, "Are you writing a letter?" So here the question mark is there in the inverted comma. This is direct speech. And now here, if it is question inside this quotation marks or you can say these inverted commas, then you just change in she asked. If or whether we have to use that she asked him if he was writing a poem. Now next example, I said to her, "Do you know this person?" So here I inquired her whether she knew that person. So here we have discussed earlier that in a direct yes or no questions, or you can say interrogative sentences, a question is changed into statement. So always remember that if we are changing direct to indirect speech, so a question is changed into a statement, or it will change into statement. Reporting verb is changed into ask. Here you can see it will change into ask, inquire, and connectives. Those who are connective the sentence together, if and whether will be used. So always remember ask or inquire will be there and in the connective way. So we will use connect if and whether. So as we have seen in these examples, she said to him, "Are you writing a poem?" She asked him if he was writing a poem. Now here you can see, I said to her, "Do you know this person?" I inquired her whether. Now here you can see whether it is used, and here the connector is if and this is whether. I inquired her. See the difference. She asked him if he was writing a poem. Now I said to her, do you? Do is there. Do you know this person? Now, according to the sentence, we have written over here, I inquired her whether she knew that person. So, always keep in your mind whenever we are changing direct to indirect speech in the interrogative form. So, we always remember these two connectors will be there, if and whether, and in reported speech we are going to write ask and inquired. So, these are the very simple things that you always keep in your mind. Now, earlier we have discussed that if the direct speech, it is written in yes or no questions, but if it is written in case of question words like who, how, what, where, whose, which, why, whom, etc., same words are used as connective in the reported speech. So whether it is written do or whether it is written are, is, or any auxiliary verbs, it will be started with that questions. So whether we have written these type of the yes or no questions, or in case of question words like who, how, where, what, whose, which, why, whom, etc., same words are used as a connective in the reported speech. To understand these type of the words, how we are going to use in indirect speech, so I am going to give you a few examples. Where do you live? She asked Meena. Now here you can see the difference of asking question you can see over here. Where do you live? She asked Meena. So this is direct speech. Now here whenever we are making indirect speech, we are going to write she asked Meena where she lived. Now again you can see a new example. He said to UV, how do you write poems? Now here you can see that he asked UV how he wrote poems. Now here you can see the difference. She asked Meena, he asked UV how, because how is written over here, that is why it will change how he wrote poems. How do you wrote poem? Now here we are just only use how he wrote poems. So you can see the difference between those two sentences. This is direct speech and this is indirect speech we have changed. Now let's see more example, that if the question is asked in yes or no answers, that John asked her, are you coming? So this is yes or no answers or questions. So in example I am going to give you, John asked, where is Mary? So this is WH question, or you can say these are the question words. So in that speech we are supposed to write, John asked if or whether she was coming. John asked where Mary was. Now here, if and whether, that we have discussed earlier, that if and whether the connector we are going to use over here, and if the question is asking in yes or no answers, then we are going to use if or whether. And whenever the WH questions, or you can say the question words will be there, so we will write directly, John asked where Mary was. So this type of the difference between yes or no answers questions and with the WH questions, or you can say the question words. Now let's see more example of question words, that is WH. Direct speech, if it is written, my friend asked where is Venus. So here you can see in examples I have given that my friend asked where Venus was. So here you can see the how to make the sentences in when the direct speech it is given with the WHO, or you can say who, where, which, whom. These type of the question words will be there. So we will make this indirect speech, my friend asked where Venus was. Now let's see more example. Other example of WH questions. Direct speech, my friend asked how are you. If it is written how are you, so we will change in indirect speech, my friend asked how I was. Now transformation process, put the subject before the verb, change the pronoun you to I, and join the clauses using the how, who, whom, where, when and why. Adjust second verb to the time frame of the first verb. So these are the transformation process, and put the subject before the verb, that you have seen in this sentence also. We have already put the subject before the verb. So here you can see this is subject, and this is also subject. So we have put the subject before this is verb. So we have already put the subject before verb and change the pronoun you to I. Now here how are you, it is changed into I, and here you can join the clauses using the how, whom, when and why. So here how is there because it is mentioned over here, that is why we have written that how is there, then I, then adjust a second verb to the time frame of the first verb. So because it is asked over there, so that is why we are going to use over here was. So these are the formation of, first you just write subject, and then you will write verb, and then the question word would be there if it is written in a WH, yani where or who, whom, so that you are going to add. Then pronoun, and we will change in pronoun, and then we are supposed to use the second verb according to the reported speech. So these are the formula of, or you can say the process of transforming direct to indirect speech in interrogative forms. So I'm going to give you few more examples. Examples of WH questions. My friend said, "Where are you going?" Now, in indirect speech, we are going to write, my friend asked where I was going. Now, next you can see, my friend said, whom did you call? So now here you can see in indirect speech, my friend asked whom I had called. So accordingly, the tenses we are going to change. My friend, this is subject, and then verb will be there, and then WH questions. Then according to the you can say the pronoun, we are going to change over here I, and then because it is R, so according to the rule, simple or continuous tense will be converted into past continuous tense. That is why we are supposed to use was and then going. And now you can see the next example. My friend said, whom did you call? Because it is written in the past tense already. My friend asked whom I had called. So you become, you, the pronoun become I over here, same here. And then because it is written in the past tense, that is why it will become in past perfect tense. So according to the rule, we have to change. But in questions, because here you can see it is using whom and where, so it will convert into whom and where same as it is written in the indirect speech. So we will direct speech, whatever it is written in the direct speech, we just copy it in the indirect speech to form interrogative sentences. Now let's see more example of WH questions. My friend said whom I was calling. Now here you can see because it is written in past continuous tense, so that is why it will change into past perfect continuous tense. My friend asked whom I had been calling. Now next example, my friend said, where have you been? My friend asked where I had been. So now in pronoun change, you just whom I was calling. So my friend asked whom I had been calling. So I will remain same over here. So where have you been? So here you can see you become I. So these are the formation of interrogative sentences in direct to indirect speech. Now let's see more example. That he asked me what did she say. He asked me what she had said. He asked me when are you leaving. He asked me when I was leaving. So this is continuous tense and this is past tense, that it will be changed. Simple present tense, past tense will be changed in past perfect tense. According to the rule, we are going to change, but something that is different, that which is interrogation. So interrogation words will be written same over here, and she is pronoun change in pronoun, and here you can see when is there, then you transform in I was leaving, because this is continuous present continuous tense. So that is why it will change into past continuous tense. Now let's see more example. He asked me who is coming for dinner. He asked me who was coming for dinner. Now next, he asked me how many times have you seen that movie. He asked me how many times I had seen that movie. So these are the example which is very helpful for us. Now next example, he asked me what time is it. Now in direct speech, He asked me what time it was. Now next example we will see. He asked me how old are you. Now in indirect speech he asked me how old I was. So these example, please go through these example because these are the very important for you, how to create, how to make indirect speech which is given indirect speech in the interrogative sentence. So if it is WH questions are there, so how we create in indirect speech, these examples are very helpful for us. So please revise this through this video, because with the help of this video you can create indirect speech very easily. Now let's discuss imperative sentences. So this is order, command and advice. So let's see, in imperative sentences, reporting verb is changed into order, advise, request, ask and etc. No change of tense. The connective is to is put as infinitive. So I said to him, take your seat. I advise him to take his seat. He said to Nina, give me some food please. He requested Nina to give him some food. Now, because we have discussed these imperative sentences, so we are not going to revise this, but just only some pages we have seen. So now our topic today is exclamatory sentences. After interrogative sentences, we are going to discuss about exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory, as you all know children, these are showing exclamatory sentence can show a sudden feeling which can be sudden joy or sudden grief, sudden disappointment. So these are the things will be explained or shown by exclamatory sentence with the help of the exclamation mark. So in exclamatory sentences, reporting verb is changed into exclaim with joy, sorrow, anger, surprise, etc. That is used and sentence will be changed into statement. So whenever we are changing direct to indirect speech, so it will change into the statement. So exclamatory symbol oh, hi, alas, etc. are removed. So whenever we are making direct to indirect speech, we just remove these type of the exclamation symbols. Suppose oh, hi, alas, wow, these are the things would be removed. Now connective, that will be used. So these are the rules that you just always remember. So all the symbols, exclamation symbol, whenever we are making direct to indirect speech, that will be removed and sentence will be changed into statement, and connective, that will be used. So first thing that it is, and this is second thing, and this is third thing. So whenever we are changing exclamatory sentences in direct or indirect narration, so always remember exclamatory symbol will be removed and connective that will be followed, and sentences will be changed into statement. So this you always keep in your mind. Now here you can see some examples are given. He said, how beautiful a place. Now here you can see he exclaimed. So the change you can see whenever we are making exclamatory sentence. So exclaimed, how it is there, so it is understood that this is exclamatory sentence and exclamation mark is also there. So we just recognize that this direct statement is written in exclamatory sentence. Now how we are going to change? He explained with joy that it was a very beautiful place. So how we are not going to use over here in indirect speech. So in place of how beautiful or how, we are going to use he exclaimed with joy, because this is the we can see this is the feeling that we can easily understand that it is how beautiful is the place, because with the joy he exclaimed. He exclaimed with joy that it was a beautiful place. Now let's see next example. Rohan said, "Hooray, we have won the match." Now here you can see it is showing the joy of Rohan. So exclamation mark is also there, you can see, and hooray is a exclamatory sentence or word, you can see. So Rohan said, "Hooray, we have won the match." Now whenever we are making indirect speech, so always remember exclaimed will be followed, because this is written in the exclamatory sentence. That is why whenever we are making direct to indirect speech, we just always remember that something that we should always keep in our mind. Now here you can see Rohan said, "Hooray, we have won the match." Rohan exclaimed happily because it's showing the happiness of Rohan. That is why it is written Rohan exclaimed happily that they had won the match. Now here you can see some changes. We is changed into they, because as we have learned the rules of changing pronouns, that will be remain same in this. So we have won the match. So that is the connector. Here you can see it is used. Rohan exclaimed happily that they had won the match. Let's see more examples. Now one thing always remember that how or hooray, these are the feelings, these are the word, these are the exclamation word that are showing the feeling of joy or happiness. So or this always these type of the exclamation words you just always remember. So let's see more example of exclamatory sentence. Now here you can see alas. Alas, as you all know, it's showing the sadness, or you can see the grief of something that you have lost something. That time we are supposed to use alas, and we are showing our sorrow. So this is exclaimed with sadness, regret and disappointment. Of course, that we have already learned about that. These are the exclamatory words. So in direct speech, if it is written, the reporter said, "Alas, many lives have been lost due to tsunami." Now in direct speech, we are going to write the reporter explained will be there. So this you always remember. So whenever we are using alas, so you just always remember that we are supposed to use sadly. So alas, because it's showing the sadness, disappointment and regret or grief or sorrow. So that is why we are supposed to use sadly. The reporter explained sadly that many lives had been lost due to tsunami. So the all things will be remain same, and we have change in the these type of the changes will be happened as the rule of the direct and indirect. But one thing, whenever we are changing exclamatory sentence, that one thing always keep in our mind, when said become exclaimed. So that is why I'm giving you these examples again and again, because one time when you doing these type of the sentences, you are changing direct to indirect speech, so you will get confused. That is why I am telling you again and again, whenever it is written how or wow, these type of the sentences will be there. So, or words will be there, exclamation words will be there. So, we will just write in the happy mood, or you are writing, you are converting to direct or indirect speech happily. So, here, because alas is a word which is showing us the sadness and regret and disappointment, that is why we are supposed to use over here. The reporter exclaimed sadly that many lives had been lost due to tsunami. Because of this exclamation word, that is why we are using over here sadly. Next thing which is very important in exclamatory sentence, if it is written may you with the exclamation mark, so it is referring the blessings or wishes for you or anyone. So always remember, when it is written may you, so it is showing the you are blessing something or you are wishing for someone a good thing. That is why the example you can just pay attention over here. The grandmother said her, may you meet with success wherever you go. Now here you can see, because grandmother is wishing you or blessing her that she should meet with success. Now these are the changes you can see. May meet with success wherever you go. So grandmother blessed, because may it is written here, that is why we are going to use blessed or wished. So that is why we have used over here grandmother blessed her that she should meet with success wherever she goes. Now we can see the summary, whatever we have studied today, that we have changed what we are going to change in the exclamatory sentences, what we are going to change in or write in imperative sentences and interrogative sentences and affirmative, that we have already done. So please see, change in set to affirmative sentence, it will become told. In interrogative sentence, we are supposed to write asked. In imperative sentences, ordered, requested and advised. And in exclamatory sentence, we are supposed to write exclaimed, wished or begged. Now here connected, how we are going to connect two statements together, so that time we are supposed to use in affirmative sentence that, and in interrogative if or WHS questions are there. Imperative we are supposed to use to, and exclamatory we are supposed to use that. And change in sentences, tense, pronoun, time and place. And in interrogative sentences we are supposed to use interrogative to assertive to change of TPTP means time or past, whatever the time is there. So now imperative, pronoun, time and place, and time and place will be used. Now in exclamatory sentences, interrogative to and assertive to change of the time and place. So please go through this clip and you just take a screenshot also, because this is very important for you. And these are the changes you just always keep in whenever you are making direct to indirect speech in affirmative, interrogative, imperative and exclamatory sentences. That 10 sentences we have discussed, and we have discussed change of pronouns, we have discussed adverb of time and place, and we have discussed how to change in tenses. So these are also big changes that we are used to do to making direct to indirect speech. So take a screenshot and write it down in your copy. So I think all the rules clear to you, and you have understood all the rules, and we will do some practice on that. Whatever the exercises given are in our book, so we will continue this topic, direct and indirect narration, in our coming videos also. You go through this video and learn how to create, because I have given so many examples that you just practice on it, because these are the very important thing that you always keep in your mind whenever you are changing direct to indirect speech. So till then children, bye bye and take care.